Chapter 1. The heist begins. The sun set over the sprawling cityscape, casting long shadows across the streets. In a dimly lit garage, a group of individuals gathered around a table covered in blueprints and maps. At the head of the table stood Dominic "Dom" Reyes, a seasoned street racer with a reputation for pulling off impossible heists. "All right, team," Dom began, his voice steady and commanding. "This is the big one. The heist that will set us up for life. But it's not going to be easy. We're up against Victor Kane, the most ruthless crime lord in the city. He's got the money, the muscle, and the connections. But we've got something he doesn't: each other." The team consisted of Mia, Dom's tech-savvy sister, Leo, the expert driver, Rico, the muscle, and Elena, the master of disguise. Each member brought a unique skill set to the table, and together, they formed an unstoppable force. Dom laid out the plan. "We're hitting Kane's vault. It's hidden beneath his casino, heavily guarded and nearly impossible to access. But we've got a way in. Mia, you'll hack into the security system and create a diversion. Leo, you'll handle the getaway car. Rico, you'll take care of any guards we encounter. Elena, you'll blend in with the casino staff and get us access to the vault." As Dom spoke, the team listened intently, their faces a mix of determination and excitement. They knew the risks, but they also knew the rewards. This heist could change their lives forever. "Remember," Dom continued, "we're in this together. No one gets left behind. We move as one, and we get out as one. Let's do this." With a final nod, the team dispersed, each member heading off to prepare for their part in the heist. Chapter 2. The plan. The team reconvened the next evening in the same garage, the air thick with anticipation. Dom stood at the head of the table, ready to dive into the details of their plan. "All right, everyone," Dom began, "we've got one shot at this. Mia, let's start with you. What's the status on the security system?" Mia, her fingers flying over her laptop keyboard, looked up with a confident smile. "I've hacked into the casino's security network. I've mapped out the camera locations and identified the blind spots. During the heist, I'll create a diversion by looping the footage. That should give us a window of about 10 minutes to get in and out." Dom nodded, pleased with Mia's progress. "Good work. Leo, how's the getaway car coming along?" Leo grinned, his eyes gleaming with excitement. "I've got a custom-built, high-performance car ready to go. It's got reinforced armor, a turbocharged engine, and enough horsepower to outrun anything Kane's goons can throw at us." "Perfect," Dom said. "Rico, what about the guards?" Rico cracked his knuckles, a determined look on his face. "I've been scouting the casino. There are two main entrances, both heavily guarded. But I've identified a service entrance that's less secure. I'll take care of any guards we encounter along the way." Dom turned to Elena, the final piece of the puzzle. "Elena, you'll be our eyes and ears inside the casino. Can you get us access to the vault?" Elena nodded confidently. "I've already secured a job as a dealer. I'll be able to move around the casino without raising suspicion. Once I'm in position, I'll signal you when it's clear to move." Dom took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the plan on his shoulders. "All right, team. This is it. We move in tomorrow night. Remember, stick to the plan, and we'll get through this. Let's make it happen." The team dispersed once more, each member focused on their preparations. The night of the heist was fast approaching, and there was no room for error. Chapter 3. The setup. The night of the heist arrived, and the team gathered one last time in the garage. The tension was palpable, but so was the determination. They were ready. Dom gave a final rundown of the plan. "Mia, you'll start the diversion at exactly 10 p.m. Leo, have the car ready at the service entrance. Rico, you'll be with me. Elena, signal us when it's clear. With a final nod, the team set off, each member heading to their designated position. The clock was ticking, and every second counted. Mia sat in a van parked a few blocks away from the casino, her laptop open and ready. At precisely 10 p.m., she initiated the diversion, looping the security footage and creating a window of opportunity. Inside the casino, Elena moved through the crowd with practiced ease, her eyes scanning for any signs of trouble. She made her way to the staff area and signaled Dom and Rico, who were waiting outside the service entrance. Dom and Rico slipped inside, moving quickly and quietly through the corridors. They encountered a few guards, but Rico dispatched them with swift precision. They reached the vault door, where Elena was waiting. All clear, Elena whispered. Let's do this. Dom and Rico set to work on the vault door, using a combination of brute force and technical skill to bypass the security measures. The door swung open, revealing stacks of cash and valuable items. We're in, Dom said, a triumphant smile on his face. Let's load up and get out of here. As they began to fill their bags, the sound of approaching footsteps echoed through the corridor. Dom's heart raced. They had to move fast. Leo, get ready, Dom said into his earpiece. We're coming out hot. The team moved quickly, their bags heavy with loot. They made their way back to the service entrance, where Leo was waiting with the getaway car. They piled in, and Leo floored the accelerator, the car roaring to life. As they sped away from the casino, the sound of sirens filled the air. The heist was far from over, and the real challenge was just beginning. Chapter 4, the first attempt. The getaway car roared through the city streets, weaving in and out of traffic with precision. Leo's hands were steady on the wheel, his eyes focused on the road ahead. Dom, Rico, and Elena sat in the back, their hearts pounding with adrenaline. Hang on tight, Leo shouted over the roar of the engine. We've got company. In the rearview mirror, Dom saw a convoy of black SUVs closing in fast. Kane's men were hot on their trail, determined to reclaim the stolen loot. Dom grabbed his earpiece and spoke to Mia. Mia, we need an escape route. Now. Mia's fingers flew over her keyboard as she pulled up a map of the city. Take the next left, then head for the old industrial district. There's a network of alleys and side streets you can use to lose them. Leo followed Mia's directions, the car skidding around corners and barreling down narrow streets. The SUVs were relentless, their headlights glaring in the darkness. Rico leaned out of the window, firing shots at their pursuers, but the SUVs kept coming. We're not shaking them, Rico growled. We need a new plan. Dom's mind raced as he considered their options. They couldn't outrun the SUVs forever, and they couldn't risk leading them back to their safe house. They needed to make a stand. Leo, head for the old warehouse on 5th Street, Dom ordered. We'll make our stand there. Leo nodded and floored the accelerator, the car speeding towards the warehouse. They burst through the gates and skidded to a stop inside the cavernous building. Dom, Rico, and Elena jumped out. They took cover behind stacks of crates. The SUVs screeched to a halt outside, and Kane's men poured out, guns drawn. Dom took a deep breath, his eyes scanning the warehouse for any advantage. They were outnumbered and outgunned. But they had the element of surprise. Rico, Elena, cover me, Dom said. We're going to take them down, one by one. Rico and Elena nodded, their faces set with determination. As Kane's men entered the warehouse, Dom and his team sprang into action. Rico's brute strength and Elena's agility made them a formidable duo, while Dom's strategic mind kept them one step ahead. The warehouse echoed with the sounds of gunfire and shouts as the battle raged on. Dom's team fought with everything they had, their movements precise and coordinated. Slowly but surely, they began to turn the tide. Just as it seemed they might have a chance, a new figure entered the fray.
Victor Kane himself, flanked by his top enforcers, strode into the warehouse, his eyes cold and calculating.
Well, Kane sneered. You really thought you could steal from me and get away with it?
Dom stepped forward, his jaw set. We did more than think it, Kane.
We did it. And we're not done yet.
Kane's eyes narrowed, and he raised his gun.
Let's see about that.
Chapter 5. The warehouse was a battleground, the air thick with tension and the smell of gunpowder.
Dom and his team were pinned down, outnumbered and outgunned.
Kane's men were relentless, their bullets chipping away at the crates and machinery that provided the only cover.
Dom's mind raced as he tried to come up with a plan.
They needed to get out of there, but the odds were stacked against them. He glanced at Rico and Elena, who were both holding their own but clearly struggling.
Mia, Dom said into his earpiece, we need an exit. Now.
Mia's voice crackled through the earpiece. There's a service tunnel at the back of the warehouse.
It leads to the sewers. You can use it to escape. Dom relayed the information to his team. Rico, Elena, fall back to the tunnel.
I'll cover you.
Rico and Elena nodded and began to move towards the back of the warehouse, their movements quick and precise.
Dom fired off a few shots to keep Kane's men at bay, then followed his team. They reached the tunnel entrance and slipped inside, the darkness swallowing them up.
Dom led the way, his flashlight cutting through the gloom.
The sound of their pursuers faded as they moved deeper into the sewers.
After what felt like an eternity, they emerged into the night air, the city lights twinkling in the distance.
They were battered and bruised, but they were alive. We did it, Elena said, her voice filled with relief.
Dom nodded, but his mind was already racing ahead.
They had pulled off the heist, but they had also made a powerful enemy.
Kane wouldn't rest until he had his revenge. We need to lay low for a while, Dom said. Find a safe place to regroup and plan our next move. The team nodded in agreement, their faces set with determination.
They had come this far, and they weren't about to give up now. The heist was just the beginning, and they were ready for whatever came next.
Chapter 6. Regrouping. The team found refuge in an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of the city.
It was far from luxurious, but it provided the cover they needed to lay low and regroup. Dom stood at the center of the room, his mind racing with plans and contingencies. We need to stay off the grid for a while, Dom said, addressing the team.
Kane will be looking for us, and we can't afford to be found.
Mia nodded, her fingers already flying over her laptop keyboard.
I'll set up a secure network so we can communicate without being traced.
We should also change our appearance and avoid using any electronic devices that can be tracked. Rico leaned against the wall, his arms crossed.
What about the loot? We can't just sit on it forever. Dom nodded. We'll need to find a way to launder the money.
But first, we need to make sure we're safe.
Elena, can you reach out to your contacts and see if they can help us lay low? Elena nodded. I know a few people who owe me favors. I'll see what I can do.
As the team set to work, Dom couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. He knew Kane wouldn't give up easily, and they needed to stay one step ahead.